next, we've got a fantastic panel discussion for you. The future of Meta, what could it offer in 10 years from today? We're going to be finding out from our panelists, and to introduce them to you and to moderate this session, please welcome Graziela Thake. She is the Optimization Hub's CEO.
An alternate version of me. So, hello everybody, my name is Graziela Thake. I'm the CEO of the Optimization Hub and also chairwoman of EMIC and also a trustee of 100 World Legends. Now I've got to say to you, I'm about to bring to the stage someone very, very exciting. He's actually an alternate version of me. I don't know if you've ever wondered, what would it feel like to have your own avatar who could go out there and do something while you were doing something else, even sleeping? I know I've been thinking that the last 2 days. It'd be nice to have someone else doing that. I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Mohamed Al Hemairy. Now, he has 17 years experience in research and management and intellectual property. He's the most photographed man in this place. Every time I've stood beside him, someone's come up for his photograph. Could everyone give him a bit of a round of applause?
Thank you.
He's a master of intellectual property in the Metaverse. We're all going to be needing him because he's going to tell us how to run more effective businesses. As I dodge that sunshine up there slightly so I can see the audience. And he also is right here in the UAE. He has gone out and worked with 220 different analytical programs, and he's somebody that you need to know if you're thinking about what's it going to look like in 10 years' time. The next person that I'm bringing to the stage is a complete alternate reality person. He's actually coming to us from the social media and media background, and he heads Loving Dubai. He is in a media and award-winning media company in the UAE, and he's also worked extensively throughout Europe as well, and brings many, many ideologies to the stage. Come on up, Richard Fitzgerald. Now, as I take my seat, I want you to think about what's it going to be like in 10 years' time. What we're here to discuss today is what will it be like in 10 years when we have to look at our alternate reality. Now, we're sitting here mastering the sunshine, and I'm sure also mastering your after-lunch appetites and hopefully going to captivate you. Cast your minds forward to 10 years. Think to yourselves, I can understand why some of those panels were standing up. Can you? I was wondering what they were doing before.
It will change after that.
It might change. It might change.
Okay.
So in terms of where we're at right now, we're thinking about what will the next 10 years look like. Now, if you cast your minds back, I'm 52 years old. I remember when we were given a box that held a brick phone in it. Now, if you're old enough like me and you can think back to that time in VCRs, you know that we were told in the next 10 years we're going to see such and such happening. And within 2 years we were holding a phone in our hands, using it 24 hours a day. So if you think Meta is going to happen in 10 years, it's too late. It's already happening. What I would like to ask our panel is, what do we think? And think about it, audience. What's it going to be like in 10 years? Mohamed, Richard, you bring so much experience to the table, and we want to hear from you, both from the analytical perspective of a professor who's been working in this area, telling me scarily that I've got an alternate person already wandering around, being me somewhere else, to what it's like in the media world, where we're going to be exploring the fact that we're having our businesses, our advertising happening in a virtual realm. What do you expect us to see in 10 years, Mohamed?
Thank you, Graziela, for having us here. Everybody have seen Metaverse right now, and they know that they can play games in Metaverse, they can have an avatar character in Metaverse. This is, in reality, we can experience this right now, but what will be in the future is something will be much more advanced and will be adopted on a larger scale. Now, people can easily buy properties in Metaverse. They can visit places in Metaverse they could not visit in a normal timing or in a normal situations. They can also do gathering. They can do parties also in the Metaverse. You can also furnish your home for every party by virtual furniture. And this is something that you could not do in a normal life. So you can invite your friends from all over the world to a party. You just need to agree on a time, and that's it. Nobody needs to travel from place to place and sit together. They can, meet in the metaverse in something which looks more in reality by the technologies that we have, which can represent your digital copy of you, digital personal character of you, and you can interact with the people as if you are real. The only things maybe you will miss the real touch or the physical touch people, but now with the ambient tools and assistant devices that you can also have the feeling of hug, feeling of shake hands, even the odor and the smell. You can smell and sense things using these assistant tools.
You know what's really scary? Has anybody here, put your hands up if you've tried the Oculus Quest. Who's tried one of those? Isn't it darn fantastic? You walk around on that thing. Do you know what my team did to me with the Oculus Quest? They set it to set me shorter. And when you walk in, there's that desk that you've got to go. And I was going, I can't reach anything. And everyone was looking at me and I was going, what on earth? Anyway, so thinking about that, wandering around, you can actually, with an Oculus Quest, you can feel in your hands and around yourself, other people coming and tapping you on the shoulder. It's the most interesting experience. Richard, if I was going to set my business up in the metaverse, 10 years being 2 years, given that this is the way we work in the UAE and this is the way we should be working, if we think about that and we think about 2 years' time, suddenly my business is in the metaverse, I'm advertising, I'm socializing, what do you expect us to see?
I think, we're at a Future Innovation Summit, and Dubai obviously is a future and innovative city, and His Highness Sheikh Hamdan announced recently that one of the entities in the government have already bought a plot of land on the sandbox. And I think that's an entry point. I think Hamid mentioned other entry points into the metaverse, which is gaming and experiential, and you mentioned one as well. I think these are entry points, and businesses have to wonder what their entry point is. While I totally agree that the acceleration and the pace of adoption of software and hardware and technologies is probably faster than we often expect. I do still think it's an experimental phase. I think, businesses to go all in 2022, we don't really know, especially with the economics around it right now for businesses. But it's not too early to experiment, and in the media publishing space, experimentation is all what people are doing now, whether it's in NFTs or, there was a Serie A football game streamed in the metaverse, and it was a lounge like this, and there was a screen beside it. This was last weekend, Sampdoria against someone, and there was a big screen like a TV screen, and you would sit down like this and you'd watch the screen with your friends. But the lounge is the thing that's built. So imagine that's how a company enters the metaverse. There are steps, there's simple steps. Buy a plot of land, take the office or the stadium or the lounge that you've already created in Dubai, the restaurant, take the CAD drawings of them, get the right developer, Solidify or whatever, and build it. And then, but you have to buy the plot of land, and you have to decide where in the world, where in the land that you want to buy the plot of land. You can get a plot of land for $2,000-3,000 Ethereum, and you can build your existing designed architecture quite easily in the metaverse. And then that's an experience that already can live on Oculus, and you can start having meetings already in the metaverse. It's not that far-fetched.
So what we need to tell you is that it's actually real. You're sitting someplace, you're feeling, you're seeing people, you're walking in, it's a visual experience, it's an immersive experience. Reality versus metaverse, I was talking about yesterday on a panel, and I think what's really important for our audience to be aware of is thinking about how do I prepare myself for this next change, because it's going to come, it's going to catch up, and suddenly you're going to go, hang on a minute, how do I handle this? So if we think about the plot of land, because that seems a bit far-fetched, now I've got to go buy something else. But what about the thoughts of I want to advertise, or I want to go visit, or I want to go attend a conference, or I want to do some analysis? You know, how do we plan to interact between the metaverse and reality? Because you scared me senseless before. You said there's another one of me already walking around. I didn't think there were two of me.
Well, that's definitely will happen. It is technology is invertible. As we discussed before, nobody knows the exact shape of the metaverse in the future, even in 3 years now, not rather than 10 years from now. So. So what happens that there will be a lot of technologies around us, not only the blockchain, there will be the artificial intelligent AI, the Internet of Things, IoT, there will be the machine learning, and a lot of technologies, they will work together into enhancing these technologies for the future. The machine learning and the artificial intelligence will try to understand your personality, your characters, your behaviors over a course of years, and then try to transform a digital copy of you. This digital copy of you has the ability to predict what you were gonna do in a certain situations, what actions you're going to take, and then it can go and take action on your behalf, even you are not presented at this time. So if you, for example, you are invited here in Dubai in a Future Innovation Summit, and there is another event in Miami, in the United States, or in Asia, and then you want to attend, so your avatar there, if it's not physical attendance, you can send it there to attend the conference. They have your speech, they know the ideas and thoughts that you want to address to the audience, and when you're gonna meet again with your avatar person or copy, it will give you feedback, comments, and summary of all what's happening in there. You can also send them to different meetings, and so you will have the ability to do multitasking. This is something.
So it's going to mean that I don't have to diet or anything like that.
Well, that's another thing that, which is like Elon Musk and his team, they are working in that if your body died, still your brain can be transformed and implanted in a robot.
Okay. Let's slow down. I think we're going to scare our audience. Let's just go, whoa, let's pull back from that. So if we think about this in practical steps, because we haven't got very long, so the practicalities of what we've just heard are that basically we could send off our avatar and say there were two competing conferences. That avatar would go to that conference, you would attend one conference physically, they'd come back together, you'd assimilate all the information. I kind of think to myself that media often shows us what the future's going to look like. So everyone who's seen the movie Avatar, well, that's kind of happening right now. So what we're saying is that we'll have that encoded experience available to us. Yeah. What about business? What's that going to look like?
I think with predicting the future, looking at business and media and content, you have to, what can we go from? We have to look at comparables, and Hamid also mentioned gaming. It's been possible to advertise in-game advertising in shoot-em-ups or in drive motorsport games on billboards for 15, 20 years. This technology is available. Yeah. So this technology will be available in the metaverse. You can advertise like on billboards, like normal. What else in business? We have to look at pattern recognition in terms of the adoption of new technologies. it's about attention, it's about audiences, and at first it will be about how many people are using the metaverse, what are the numbers, what are the hardware device purchases, how many of these were predicted to be sold in 2008, 10 million versus 200 million a year now or something like that. And that's where we can go from. So the whole ecosystem, when we predict, the Internet of Things is $1 trillion economy, what economics are we talking about here? There's two. There's the creator economy and the token economy. The creator economy is already playing out with everything that's happening with creators on Web 2, on social media, rev share on platforms and things like that, and creators. And that's moving into Web 3 quite quickly with NFTs. And then the token economy is the value exchange that happens in the metaverse. And Dr. Mohamed is more of an expert than I am on the blockchain, but it will be based on chains. And so they're the two things that your business needs to look at. Right now, for me, the token economy, if I'm looking at revenue model for a media business, I look at direct to consumer. If I'm selling tickets to this event, and I have a media company, or if I'm selling a subscription, I see that as the token economy, and I see that as exchange and cryptocurrencies and blockchain. If I see the creator economy, I see the revenue that Love in Dubai or Smashy makes on YouTube and on Snapchat, and that's the creator economy. So the evolution of these does converge into the metaverse.
So with 3 minutes to go, can you give me some practical 3 steps that our audience could take to prepare themselves for the next 10 years so it doesn't sort of leap on them? So we kind of say, well, look, if you need to do anything right now to grab hold of what you need to know so that you don't get speed wobbles, that you don't feel overpowered by something that you don't understand, how can they take something home to their businesses, their families, themselves, their teams? How can they operate smart and efficiently to get ahead of the curve?
Yeah. I mean, these are very advanced technologies. It needs skills to learn and also to practice. When the COVID started, we have seen like a lot of let's say middle-aged generation, they face difficulties to move online, to work online and use some technologies. So I remember that most of school, university, they start to conduct workshops for the professors and for the teachers to learn how to use Zoom and Microsoft Teams and other simulation tools for the laboratory and experimental work. While the kids in the school, they did not, they just start immediately because for them it's nothing. So this gap in adoption of the technologies and in learning the technology, we should fulfill this until we have experience and exercising the metaverse in the full scale, or maybe the scary scale, as we say it. So to not face this gap. The same thing for parents and grandparents, for example, they feel difficulties to have a distance call or maybe video call with their kids who are during the lockdown, during the pandemic. So they take some time to adopt this, and they were not very prepared.
So the early adoption stages
Yes.
are about taking up the tool and trying it.
Sure.
So basically it's education, taking the tool up, trying
And
the
engagement.
tool. And engagement in the tool. So don't be fearful. Fear is a question. Go out there and try it. Look it up, Google it. How do I get involved? Where do I try something? And let me take some practical steps. Because why not be ahead of the curve? I mean, Dubai is way ahead of the curve. So take yourselves, your families, your businesses with you. What's something, 3 steps, because we've got literally 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think we need to be careful about attaching labels to things too quickly. And we discussed this earlier as we were preparing for the panel, that when social media when new technologies come, the media narratives around them are quite simplistic. Self-driving cars is too dangerous. They're going to crash in and knock people over, or TikTok is just for dancing. But what happens is there's more depth that comes to these. And there's a great kind of story in the book called Sapiens about humans and why our species evolved more than others, right? And it was because we believe in fictions. So don't deny the metaverse. We're great at believing this is what we do. We're brilliant at it. We're brilliant at dreaming up the next big thing. It's happening. So I think you just need to embrace it. It will happen. You don't need to be pro or for or against it or go all in or out, but just be careful about the labels. Like, people still get triggered on social media. People still get worked up on all this sort of stuff. You don't need to. It will happen. You don't need to be totally all in early or late. It will happen.
So
just embrace it.
So the metaverse is happening right now. My advice as your moderator and listening to my two esteemed panelists is go out there, embrace it. Change is happening. We all like to feel safe. Grab hold of it. Make it happen for you before it happens to you. Take care.
Thank you.